Part 2. Look at the time. The Nestorians, a religious sect that rivaled Roman Catholicism at one time, claimed to be the descendants of the lost tribes. There are theories that the lost descendants. Let me read that again. It didn't sound right. Okay, I'll move on because I see that line didn't come out too well, so I'll try to find that again, but I'll move on. Descendants. Another theory comes from the Ethiopian Phalacians. The Phalacian people call themselves Beta Israel and are descended from the Queen of Sheba, a wife of King Solomon. Some claim they are lost tribes. They are the lost tribes. Even the furthest reaches of Eurasia, Japan, lays claim to harboring descendants of the lost tribe of Israel. A 17th century theory postulated that the Japanese were descendants from the 10 lost tribes. At last, but certain not least, there are theorists who believe that a goodly portion of the Native American population are from the lineage of the lost tribe of Israel. There are some pretty outstanding data collected over the years that draws cultural links between Native American groups and Mediterranean cultures. The bulk of Native American population is most certainly descended from the primitive Asians who migrated across the Siberian and barren straight land passages that once existed. There are also a number of other interminglings of genes from assorted races that arrived from the alternate route long before Columbus. See first Americans, Africans, Romans, Celts, Egyptians, Chinese. Genetic similarities of Hebrews and Cherokees. Aside from the cultural and linguistic similarities that defy explanation, modern science has provided more clues that may shed some light on the true lineage of the Native Americans. Native Americans are genetically grouped into 5 haplotypes: A, B, C, and D, and X. A paper published by Donald Yates. Anomalous mitochondrial DNA lineages in the Cherokee points out that haplotype X is an anomaly found in Native Americans, but not in Siberian or Mongolian groups, whom are conventionally believed to be their ancestors. In 2008, an extensive DNA testing of the Cherokees living on the Qualla Reservation in North Carolina was conducted. The North Carolina Cherokees were chosen because Oklahoma Cherokees, who arrived there after being forcibly evicted, Trails of Tears, 180 years ago, are so mixed with other ethnic groups rendering any DNA test marks meaningless. Their findings were astonishing. Cherokee genes, the purest unadulterated Cherokee DNA available in modern times, are Middle Eastern, North African. A second test study group was selected with the same results. So basically, if a genetics were to blindly test Cherokee DNA, not knowing it was from a Cherokee, he would probably state that it was from a person whose ancestry was Middle Eastern, North African. The lost tribes have been found, perhaps. Cultural similarities: Cherokees and Hebrew legend. The Cherokee supreme god is Yahweh, or Yahweh, Yah. The Hebrew supreme god is Yahuwah, Yehovah. Cherokees set aside a Sabbath day without work for prayer. Hebrew set aside a Sabbath day without work for prayer. Cherokee legend has a tale of universal deluge, a great flood. Hebrew legend has a tale of a universal deluge, a great flood. In some Cherokee groups, a widow could not marry without the permission of her brother-in-law. Among the ancient Hebrew, a widow could not marry without the permission of her brother-in-law. Old Testament biblical stories are somewhat paralleled by Cherokee legends. They have Aquahami, whose tale is very similar to that of Abraham. Wasi parallels Moses. Adam and Eve find representation in Cherokee legend in the story of Kayanti and Sheluva. Sheluva was bitten by an evil snake which brought death spiritual to her and her lineage. The Jewish festival of Sukkot is well documented. Jews build a Sukkot or booth in which they dwell during this festival. It occurs in the autumn on the 5th day harvest month. For 8 days they live in booths or Sukkuts with open roofs covered with branches and sometimes palm leaves. The Cherokee have festivals very similar to Sukkot, which was most preserved by one subgroup known as the Yuchi. The Yuchi tribe is closely related to the Cherokee, observed a festival nearly identical to the Sukkot. This festival takes place during the full moon on their holy harvest month. Going a little further north of the traditional Cherokee range is the Nantico Indians, whom also have festivals that is comparable to the Sukkot. The northern Cherokee nation of old Louisiana Territory, who self-identify as Cherokee but are not recognized as such by the federal government or other groups formally recognized as the Cherokee, claim to be descendants of Jewish refugees from Masada. Beverly Baker Northrop, a leader of the Northern Cherokee Nation of the old Louisiana, published a book in 2001 entitled "We Are Not Yet Conquered," which contained the explanation of the Cherokee origins. Northrop believed that a group of Mediterranean people crossed the Atlantic Ocean and interbred with Native Americans and created a Cherokee nation. Northrop association may be in part influenced by Mormonism. She claims that their ancient oral tradition tells of a Cherokee transatlantic migration from the area of Israel known as Masada. The people who escaped are known as the Sikari, which later evolved into the word Cherokee. Artifacts linking Hebrews to ancient America. In Tennessee, which is part of the original Cherokee range of influence, the Bat Creek stone was discovered in Indian burial mound in 1889. The inscriptions were initially described as Cherokee. In 1970, researchers Cyrus H. Gordon theorized that the letters are Paleo-Hebrew of the 1st or 2nd century AD rather than Cherokee. Anthropologist J. Hudson McCullough compared the inscription to both Paleo-Hebrew and Cherokee and concluded that they were better matched to Paleo-Hebrew than Cherokee. 1988 article of the Tennessee of Anthropologists. Newark holy stones are a set of artifacts produced or discovered in 1860 in a cluster of ancient Indian burial mounds near Newark, Ohio. It consists of stone ball, a keystone, and a decalogue. Unlike other ancient Indian artifacts from the area, they are inscribed with Hebrew writing. Many other artifacts exist, some within the range of the Cherokee. Some are proven fake, some have not. Okay. Now, I reserve the right, for the record, I reserve the right, as my saying I say is, as I know better, I do better. As I find out truth, I add the truth to the truth and get rid of the lies so that I can come to the truth. So I created my own form of, I want to say identification, but I'll just say my own form or my own card to classify or state who I am according to my knowledge. And I know that I believe for a fact I'm on the right track. So, I know who I am, so. Also, as you see here, this is my new card. My chosen name, Nigaselagi Yakadesh. Nationality, Hebrew, tribe of Judah. Secured creditor. On the land of what they call North America continent today. And then I put a care of, the address, their address, but I put care of it just for utilities and delivery purposes or anything like of that matter that I choose to do. This is not a contract of me acknowledging that I am their citizen. I'm not a corporate citizen. I am not a United States fictitious corporate person. I am a man living on the land, and I am in the proper capacity and status. I am the person living in full life. And then as I can read, trying to get finished before this goes away, and before time elapses for this video. Let's see. Anyway, I'll talk about another time for the sake of time. Anyway, the International Human Rights basically states, Universal Declaration of Human Rights basically says that a man in his proper capacity can go in and out of any state or country he desires. Or, you know, so because I live without the United States in my proper capacity, I have the right to use the vessel, that person, in this proper capacity being the status of white. I have the property, I have the capacity, and I have the right to go into the U.S. in order to operate in commerce, to use my given right to use the utilities and to discharge all those things. And because I have the right to receive mail, I have the right to receive the things that I order, and if the de facto acts in any way that is not just, that is fraudulent, if I tell them to send me documents or whatever, utility service, whatever, in my proper capacity, all English spelling name that I choose, and they send me a de facto name, they're in violation. I'm not subject to that contract, although I have the right to it, so I can use it, because they can't entrap me based on their fraudulent actions. Say, no, we sent it in a different name, so you can't receive it. No, I told you what to send, and I got documentation of what I told you to send, and you sent it to how you want to send it. So I'm gonna use it. That's your fraud. That ain't got to do with me. Now, also, look on the back. Aboriginal, Ashita, Cherokee people. Well, how can you be Israelite and a Cherokee at the same time? Because they're the same people. All right. Shalom.